Welcome on in, everybody. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. Your Miami Dolphins blowout city today against the Washington Commanders. They win 45-14 in a game that was basically over in 3 possessions. But it was, hey, that didn't mean that it wasn't fun to watch. Tua Tagovailoa today and Tyreek Hill, the greatest in all the sport. I mean, you could watch those guys connect for deep bombs every single week, and it just never gets old. It never gets old watching those two connect on big-time touchdowns. And today, they did it right off the bat. Tua finding the cheetah for 78 yards, and we pulled down the fun bar, and we went off on the roller coaster on a fun old time. And the Miami Dolphins really never looked back from there. They got up 7-0, and then this was the Andrew Von Ginkel show. I mean, look, it was a heartbreaker watching last week what happened to Jalen Phillips, and nothing changes with that. But this Andrew Von Ginkel has been an absolute menace every single time he has stepped into this role for JP. He has killed it. He has done this in every single way possible. He is right. I mean, basically, he was new Swedish chef today because he stepped the entire game right into the Commander's kitchen and did whatever the hell he wanted to. Sam Howell, he was giving him nightmares. And so the Miami Dolphins got off with getting the pressure there early, and they were harassing. They were harassing. Quite frankly, they were harassing him. That's really what was going on for Sam Howell today. And you know that this team stinks. They're going through a lot of turmoil. You know, Ron Rivera, he's doing the desperation coach thing where he takes over the play calling. They get rid of Jack Del Rio, who, you know, was probably better for him because at one point was replaced by Zach Thomas. Now he doesn't even have to think about it because he could have had more Dolphin nightmares going into the week. Instead, Ron Rivera, who had the audacity not to offer Mike McDaniel a coaching job, but did reply. Very polite loser. Instead, he got the great task today of trying to stop this Dolphins offense, and instead it was just Tyreek Hill doing whatever he did. The game basically ended in the first quarter. Dolphins were up 10-0, and after the Commanders got the ball back for the third time, Andrew Von Ginkel steps right into passing lane, takes that ball because his ball, he remains NFTF, dude, has that nose for the football, takes it to the house. Dolphins were up 17-0, and pretty much all she wrote. I mean, you can give the Commanders some credit. They did get on the board after that, going tush-push style. Now, the only thing that happened bad with this was we had the loss of Jerome Baker, who, look, I know all Dolphin fans can get at Jerome Baker, but the dude has been, you know, unable to be supplanted in his Dolphins career basically for 6 years, and he gets burnt by Curtis Samuel on a wheel route, and he's trying to chase him down, and Brandon Jones, who was in today for Javon Holland, launches like a torpedo right into Jerome Baker's knee, and it looked bad. I don't know what the end result is. I'm doing this before Mike McDaniel speaks, but they ruled him out pretty quickly. It did not look good, and so the Dolphins may need to get on the horn to an emergency call to Shaq Leonard, who is going to end up going to either the Eagles or the Cowboys, it sounds like. At least that's what Jake Glazer said in the pregame. But, you know, the Dolphins may need to get in on that. Now, Duke Riley played pretty well, to be fair, afterwards. The man who looks like Jason Momoa and was basically promoting himself. He was covering receivers like Jason Momoa covers the ocean as Aquaman. But, you know, is notably more of a special teamer. So I don't know if this does end up being a long-term injury for Jerome Baker. Is this something that the Dolphins have to cover? You do know that, you know, Shaq Leonard's agency is based out of here in Miami. They were trying to chirp on this early in the season of trying to get him down here. So could they make a late push for him? I don't know. Does he fit into to Fang's defense the right way? That's obviously going to be a big concern because it's a huge communication position as well. So we'll see. But that was not a great look and was certainly scary to see. So the Commanders do make it. They get it to within 10. And this was probably when it was really dagger, when it was over. And Tua today, I mean, he was so on point on third downs. Basically, it was perfect pretty much throughout the whole game. They were going for home runs. I mean, the Dolphins were going for haymakers against this Commanders defense, which stinks. and it was just a hair out of Waddle's reach going for him for the bomb. So they end up going to Achane, setting themselves up for a 3rd and 7. And as we said, he was awesome on 3rd down. And Tua, once again, rolls out, connects deep for Tyreek Hill, 60-yard bomb ski. And at the time, Tyreek Hill, these were his numbers after these 3 catches. 3 catches, 132 yards, 2 touchdowns. And look, this is going to be one of those things where a lot of people are going to try and divide the Dolph fan base, where it's like, hey, who's the MVP here? Tua, Tyreek Hill. Who should it be? This is one of those where I would just sit back and laugh at people, because Tua to Tyreek Hill, it's the greatest drug in football right now. It never gets old. You get completely addicted to it. Tua today was a pristine 8 of 24, 280 yards, 2 TDs, both of them to Cheetah. Cheetah, he keeps his pace up. 5 catches, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 for 78 yards, 1 for 60 yards. I think they had thrown up there that what the hell was what the hell was the record that he had just broken? But it was like back into the 70s of the Dolphins of where he had been. I think it was Jim Kick. He was getting into that type of territory for the Dolphins for Dolphins records today. But it was a bloodbath from there on out, man. Dolphins, I mean, you have Mike McDaniel, he's yakking it up with Waddle. You know, Mostert tried to kick him out of the bench that he was having too much fun. Zach Sealer, he then harasses Sam Howell. Just completely scary. Every time Zach Sealer gets there, it's like a bear trying to attack a man. Duke Riley was doing a great job of covering receivers. He was doing a fantastic job. And then Von Giggle nearly blocked a punt. The dude was a complete menace today with that flowing hair. It was an unbelievable thing to see. And so going into, the Dolphins have one more drive going into halftime. And mind you, they're getting the ball back after this as well. And they, Tua, 3rd and 6, he just finds this beautiful pass to Tyreek Hill over the middle for 20 yards. Then he goes for the bomb ski on Waddle again. And Waddle was close to having a monster day as well. He was like, it was right out of his reach. Then the Dolphins end up getting a penalty. They ended up then trying to toss to Tyreek Hill, which was a loss for 11. Probably the only thing that didn't work out for them today. But Tua had this pretty one on 3rd down where he steps up, eludes commanders, which is what he was doing all day, right over to Waddle. He was beautiful today. This Tua Tagovailoa, uno, fantastic. He was just money on everything, and the Dolphins end up giving a little Mostert Runski, get up 31-7. And every time, the Dolphins would do this all the time, where they're just sending Tyreek in motion, scares the hell out of the Commanders. They didn't know what to do, and it was just blowout city from there on out. They even come out of the halftime. The only bad news, the second piece of bad news that the Dolphins had on injury front, Teron Armstead ends up banging up his ankle, so they put Keon Smith out there. And instead, they just come right out of the gate. And McDaniel was able to get that elusive thing that he loves, which is the 2-for-1, going at the end of the half and then coming out and just putting an absolute hammer on this game. Tua, once again, had this beautiful play to Julian Hill on this drive where gives the little shoulder shake, steps up in the pocket, finds Julian Hill for a beautiful pass to get him involved. A rare one to his touchdown, to his tight ends. And then the next one goes to Achane. Once again, they put Tyreek in motion. Dolphins go up 38-7. I mean, and that was just pretty much all she wrote. It was a blowout from there on out. It was not something that had anything of any doubt the rest of the way. You had some great plays from the defense. They would end up getting one more score to, put a little bit of pride on it. And then Mike White comes into the game with plenty of time left in the fourth quarter. And they lead a touchdown drive, a toss to Devon Achane, just for good measure. The one last thing that they did have in this game that was adorable was they showed a clip of Tua from Hard Knocks. This dude freaking loves Christmas. I mean, it has been known that he loves Christmas, but he is just telling you that Silver Bells slaps and that Michael Bublé is a beast. Those are quotes from Tua. Those are not quotes from me. And these are hard things to argue because the man, he just absolutely adores his favorite holiday of the season. The dude will wear Christmas PJs basically from the day after Thanksgiving. And you can't wait to recap this whole thing from Hard Knocks. So Dolphins put an absolute throttling on a bad team. They put themselves to 9 wins. They matched last season. They got a ton of home games to end the year. And not only that, got a primetime game up against the Tennessee Titans coming on up. So they are absolutely sitting pretty with where they are at. TCB game on the road in foggy conditions and get themselves a dominant blowout win, 45-15 over the Washington Commanders. It was a beautiful thing to see.